All right, so I didn't want to dwell on it too long with regards to COVID and the whole topic, whatever, but it's a question that everyone's got when it comes to going and traveling, especially since we haven't traveled in quite some time, at least we haven't. So with that said, here we are, Planet Hollywood. How do they handle COVID? How do they handle, cleanliness and safety for that matter? So I'm deliberately standing here, and what we have here is a lineup. So right outside the clinic, they have their own clinic that's built in. As we check in, one of the things that they were very clear on is that we will have to fill out a form, which we did, and you apply online to get your COVID test. So for us, I don't know if it's a US thing or is it a Planet Hollywood thing, but we have to test to leave the campus and ultimately go back into the country. That's just how it goes, which I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. It's for my safety, it's for everyone else's safety for that matter as well. So that's that. So actually you'll see people queuing up here. We get an appointment. It seems to be pretty well organized. I'll know for a fact tomorrow. Ours is 10:30 in the morning, and they come and they just do the cotton swab kind of deal. I haven't heard anyone complain about it. And there's the clinic. So you go in there, they just take you in there, and once you get a positive result, you get a piece of paper that allows you to get back into the airport and then fly home. That's how it was explained to me. Let me turn this around. So as we walk around the campus, as we're out on this part of the campus, you'll notice the staff, everyone's wearing masks. Now, the patrons, like myself, you're supposed to be wearing a mask when you're I apologize. When you're walking around like the way I am now, you do not need a mask. When you're out here waiting to be seated for a restaurant, then you are to wear a mask. So imagine if I was out here waiting to get into the buffet, they request that you have a mask on. When you're in the buffet and you're helping yourself to all the different foods that are in here, you are to wear a mask as well. And then when you sit down and finally start to eat, obviously you take the mask off. Kind of typical. I mean, I'm in New York. That's sort of how it is back home as well. So it's nothing out of the ordinary. Haven't seen anyone not comply. Everyone's been really cool about it, to be honest with you. We see signs here with capacity warnings. And they insist that at all times, nothing will ever be bigger or greater than 60% capacitated. I have no way of knowing how accurate that is. And it's hard to tell because the reality is not a lot of people are here. So I don't think this was, let's say 100% booked and they turned 40% of the people away because they wanted to maintain that 60% capacity. I don't think that's the case. But there's never been a time where we're bumping elbows with people in the pool or, whatever. Never felt unsafe. I never felt, like it was dirty or just germs or whatever. There's always someone cleaning. There's always someone sanitizing the various touch points. And I think for the most part, we've all gotten accustomed to not touching a lot of the touch points as well. Let me see if I can turn this around. Everywhere you go, there are hand sanitizing stations everywhere you go. And then when you go into the restaurants, they insist, wash up really quick. So that's cool. I'm all for that. I think that's the way it should be. Depending on how you feel about it, it is kind of irrelevant. It's their house, it's their rules, and I just abide by it, and I'm fine with that. The rooms are constantly cleaned. The elevators, they're always in there with, you can smell it. It's like a rubbing alcohol, and they're constantly spraying the buttons down, whatever. I think it's wonderful, I think it's a trend that should stick around for quite some time. Hopefully after COVID as well. I mean, germs are just gross, but that's how they're handling COVID here. It was a big concern for us. We didn't know how that was going to work in terms of traveling or whatever. But yeah, down here in Mexico, or at least in this resort in Cancun, they're taking it very, very seriously, which I'm very happy to hear that. I do feel bad for the staff. You never see the staff here without a mask. I mean, it's 100 degrees. Today's going to be a hot one. Humidity, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. The humidity's off the charts right now. I'm sweating. And the mask is just, the staff is just walking around. They're all masked up. No matter where they are. They're literally lifeguards with masks on. So it's pretty wild. They do take it very seriously here. Listen, it's at every family's discretion how they handle this. And I respect that. As a family, I have my own family here. I don't feel uncomfortable. I don't feel like my health is in jeopardy here. For the most part, I feel safer here than I would on a New York City subway, that's for sure. They're constantly maintaining the the campus here, and all, like I said, all the various touch points. Like here, case in point, I'm sitting next to a railing. Last night, we were commenting. We watched someone methodically just go back and forth and clean these railings, and for good reason too. You know, on one hand, we were kind of giggling about it, but I'm happy about that. I value that. So, I hope that answers your question. To just recap really, really fast. In order to leave to get back to United Airlines, is how we flew in. The campus made us register in the lobby and then online to do the COVID testing, and we got a test negative for that. And then, like I said, everywhere you go, masks and all the various rubbing alcohol stations, whatever, for your cleaning of your hands. Yeah, actually, we can come right in here. Here's another way. Can we get in this way? Oh, it's closed. Oh yeah, here we go. 60% capacity. So these signs are everywhere, and they're very clear in the fact, if at any point in time you do feel sick or something is wrong, or you know your body, so if something's not right, they want you to be as transparent about that as possible. They kind of gave us the Red Us That Riot Act when we first checked in. So, and listen, again, that's all for good reason. So, everyone's on high alert. People are friendly, we say hello to each other, but no one's really coming over and wanting to sit with you, and I get that. That's just the culture we live in these days. Maybe it'll change, maybe it won't. Who knows? But I hope that answers your questions. If you have any further questions on the topic, let me know.